Open seas? More like choking D's. Being a pirate nowadays is harder than ever. Forget about sun damage, prison time, and scurvy. Now you gotta worry about your ship running out of stamina. There's a constant concern that you might get disconnected from the ocean, or maybe the Ubisoft menu will open up by itself in the heat of battle. You need to deal with the fact that you never learned how to swim. You're forced to communicate with character models who have no character and certainly aren't models. You gotta worry about getting the perfect photograph with your video camera. And sometimes the cursor that you use to navigate the map disappears, which means you can't fast travel. So you need to close out of the entire game to get it back. And it is absurd how soulless this game is. It is so disrespectful to the player's time. Yet still, I deeply invested myself into Skull and Bones so much that I've turned into a bit of a pirate myself. I even got me own pirate ship. Ain't she a beaut? There is, however, just one stipulation. You see, this here ship has been landlocked on account of the fact that she's ran out of stamina permanently. But it's got everything that you'd expect a pirate ship to have, like a working cogwheel, ropes. Hey, look at that! And a message in a bottle. I wonder what riches wait me in here. It says that War Thunder is the most comprehensive vehicle combat game ever made, and you don't have to pirate it because it's completely free on computers and consoles. I'm Caribbean honest with you when I say that you can swashbuckle up your seatbelts and take control of over 2,500 tanks, planes, helicopters, and ships of 10 major nations, ranging from fighter jets to those other planes that our boys shot down during the Black Pearl Harbor. But there's no time to harbor any guilt, as you can easily immerse yourself into War Thunder with its realistic graphics, detailed vehicles, and authentic sound effects. War Thunder proudly supports the handicap, because even if you have a peg leg, you can still pilot any tank or plane with just a mouse and keyboard. And they're always keeping the game fresh with new updates and eye patches. Doctors say that War Thunder can actually help prevent scurvy with its unmatched wealth of content. Click my link in the description to join a community of over 70 million players in PvP, Pirate vs. Pirate, for free on PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. If you sign up using my link in the description or pinned comment, you'll get a massive bonus pack for new players or players that haven't played in over 6 months. That comes with 7 days of premium, 100,000 silver lions, and an exclusive vehicle decorator called the Eagle of Valor. It's only available for a limited time only, so be quick. Now let's get back to the video. There's so much to do on the open seas, like go sailing, harvesting, more sailing, ship battles, trade with settlements, even more sailing, find buried treasure, explore uncharted empty seas, watch your crewmates plunder a village, turn sugarcane into rum, watch your crewmates board enemy ships, sail some more, unload all your loot into a warehouse, complete procedurally generated quests, and more. So much more. And it's all right here in Skull and Bones. Skull and Bones truly does emulate the life of a pirate, as it captures the loneliness these pirates must have felt when they were out on the open sea, isolated from the entire world for weeks or months on end, crammed together in a tight space like an impoverished family, smelly, sunburnt, lazily singing sea shanties and drinking rum to numb the pain. That's the part of the pirate's life that this game gets right. And let me tell ya, the pirate's life ain't the life for me. Mentally, when I'm playing Skull and Bones, this is exactly where it takes me. To a dark, desolate, functionless pirate ship with no crew and no friends. All the parts of piracy that we deem to be exciting and adventurous happen off camera, like the plundering. All the game shows us is a cutscene of our shipmates leaving the ship for a plunder, while we're stuck out here, defending them by sitting completely still while shooting at an outpost tower that doesn't even shoot back. Then my crew finally returns from their plunder with some loot, but the fact that the game refuses to show us what those other pirates did during their plunder makes me feel like those pirates must be doing something truly heinous. And my God, what could it be? You can hear the screams of these poor innocent souls coming from the town. Is my crew responsible for those screams? Am I sheltering and feeding heartless, murderous monsters on my ship? And what am I doing here? And we also can't even fight other pirates on other pirate ships because shipboarding is also relegated to a cutscene, which is weird because Ubisoft is more than capable of just copy and pasting an existing fighting system from one of their Assassin's Creed games, right? So the fact that they haven't done that makes me assume that they once again don't want to show me what my crew is doing while boarding that other ship, because if I were to see what me and my crew were truly capable of, I don't think I'd be able to look myself in the eye the next time I gazed into a puddle. So here I am, physically, mentally, and morally dirty, sailing the seven seas and murdering anyone who gets in my way for no reason at all. And so, without the ability to pillage or plunder, we're left with mechanics that don't require you to use your skull, as they are bare bones. Sailing is exactly as much fun as it looks. You sail in one direction, only having to be mindful of your stamina meter and the wind. You go faster when the wind blows behind your ship or beside your ship, but you go much slower when the wind is in front of your ship. Oops! Stamina's running low, better press a button to feed the old gal. And this sailing is what you do for about 80% of your time in Skull and Bones. So naturally, Ubisoft didn't implement any gimmicks, depth, or mechanics to make traversal engaging in any way. You're also given the opportunity to walk around on certain islands where you can then trade with the locals or find randomly generated hidden treasure. We'll talk about that later. And of course there's ship battles, which always devolve into going around one another in a circle, launching cannonballs at the enemy's weak spot, occasionally ramming them whenever the opportunity arises, and bracing before taking damage to avoid taking damage. To make matters worse, the ships feel so sluggish and clunky, whereas in Black Flag it felt so smooth and responsive. Like, I get that from a realistic standpoint, this would be how pirate ships would handle, but nothing about this feels fun, and it doesn't allow for any type of depth or thought. And of course, it wouldn't be a Ubisoft game if it didn't have awful AI. Like, I had an enemy just get stuck on the shore and I was able to dump ammo into him. The enemy would consistently go easy on me too. There was multiple times where they could have rammed me and killed me, but just didn't. They're pretty nice guys too. You can just stop a ship battle dead in its tracks to harvest some materials, and they'll pretty much just let you do it too. In terms of gameplay, this is all Skull and Bones has to offer. Sailing, walking, and ship battles. After having just made my review on the absolute eyesore that is Suicide Squad, which is a video you should definitely go watch when you're done here, I do appreciate how simple and peaceful the game is. But the fact remains that this game has absolutely no depth to speak of. No attempts were made at all to give the player something fun to do, to give them some sort of mental sustenance as they sail from one place to the next. This is Captain's Log 96. I found that a lack of nourishment in the game has led to a severe lack of nourishment here on the ship. I found a bottle of rum earlier, and that was cool, but like, really what I need is water or gamer subs. I found a parrot in a cage, but that only lasted me for one meal, and it kind of upset my stomach. And worst of all, there's no bathroom, so I've been putting my other Captain's Logs in a bucket that I found. I thought that playing with another person would make the game more enjoyable, so when a random pirate invited me to join his group, I happily obliged. But I couldn't talk to him because Ubisoft disabled all primary tools of communication. I guess other pirates were using voice chat to misbehave. Get out me way, you fucking wank. So because of that, Daddy Ubisoft took it out of the game. So as a workaround to this, I added him as a friend, thinking we could communicate through Ubisoft Connect. But he had no idea that I sent a friend request, and I couldn't type in the text chat to tell him to accept my friend request because Ubisoft disabled that too. So with no means of communication, I figured I would leave the group. But of course I couldn't, because the game completely bugged out and wouldn't even allow me to pause it or pull up the menu to leave. Wouldn't even let me set sail either. I was marooned here on this island. Now, I found this all to be a little hypocritical because Ubisoft said in a video that they wanted co-op to be the heart of the gameplay experience.
There's not one way to play Skull and Bones. You can be a pirate and break the rules and go team up with your friends or call for help in a situation and then make new friends in a group. That was a philosophy that we took into designing all of our experiences, that co-op really needs to be at the heart of the gameplay experience.
Yet they completely turned off every avenue of interaction the players could have with one another. It was yet another stark reminder of how lonely the pirate's life actually is. With no other people around, I found myself becoming more and more attached to my internal pirate ship. Instead of moping around, I mopped around her deck and cleaned her up. I drank rum with her, I experienced the deepest sleep I've ever had, and we even played board games together. The ship was starting to feel alive. That's a hit. Way to go, you sank my battleship. I guess you can become attached to anything if you spend enough time with it.
We want players to really get attached to their ship.
This is when I realized why I kept playing. I can't uninstall the game, because if I did, not only would I lose my connection to the pirate ship, but I would also lose the connection to the part of myself that exists here on this ship. I've been here for several days, and it has become a part of me, and I a part of it. Anyway, it's your turn. What do we got, a 6 and a... Oh, Jesus. That's the game-winning spin. So this whole game revolves around completing contracts, and upon completion, they net you experience in silver. They all have you doing one of 3 things. Number 1, plunders, which are more like plungers. These require you to just sit in a circle and wait for a bar on top of the screen to fill up, and you kill any enemy ships that make their way into the circle. And that's it. Number 2, treasure hunts. Every once in a while, you'll find a piece of paper that tells you which island buried treasure is on. Then, once you get to that island, the piece of paper will tell you which landmark the treasure is located in. But all of these islands are full of about a dozen landmarks, and the treasure will be randomly assigned to one of those landmarks. So in gameplay terms, this means you'll be aimlessly going from landmark to landmark until you eventually find the correct one, which has a beam of light next to it, letting you know you can get your treasure. Well, most of the time you'll get your treasure. Sometimes the game just won't let you interact with anything at all. So you can spend 5 to 10 minutes sailing to this island, then another 5 to 10 minutes searching the island for the treasure, only to then find the treasure and be completely unable to get the treasure since the game won't let you hit triangle to pick it up. Why? Nothing's working. And then number 3, fetch quests, which are more like retch quests. Every other contract in the game is a fetch quest that has you go out and fetch items by destroying a pirate ship or buying it from a settlement. Once you get that required stuff, you bring it on back to the mannequin who gave you the quest. Yeah. It quickly became very apparent to me that most of, if not all of these quests are procedurally generated. So for example, I would pick up a contract from an NPC, and they typically would want me to go get a specific item and bring it back to them. But half the time I already had the items they needed stashed in my warehouse, meaning I was able to finish the contract the moment I picked it up.
Selling loot is a worthwhile venture in these parts.
And hey, I'll take the free XP, but the fact that these quests practically complete themselves makes them feel meaningless. And because this is a live service game, there will never ever be an end to them. You're expected to complete countless contracts over and over again until the end of time. And if you want your live service game to live, your game needs to have a fun gameplay loop, which Skull and Bones doesn't. The gameplay is boring and the quests are bland. And a pirate game needs to have a clear beginning, middle, and end. It can't go on forever, which is what live service games are built to do, which just means that we get stuck in an infinite loop of plundering, pillaging, and stealing for no reason at all. This whole game is sickening. I think I would rather have a kid than play Skull and Bones again. I don't think I can do this anymore, honestly. Looks like it's gonna be time for me to get out of here and uninstall the game. Whoa, gal, I know. But I'm not just gonna leave you high and dry like that. So what I did was, I wrote a song for you, okay? And then I had a guy on Fiverr named Jared sing the lyrics for me so that you have something to remember me by. This is the way it needs to be.
You see, Skull and Bones makes me feel so alone. I've got nothing to eat besides a parakeet. So it's time to set sail, 'cause this game is so stale. But my heart is oh so frail. I'll be such a wreck as I'll miss your huge deck, the board games we played, and how I was your maid. I could feel something heal when I use your big wheel. I felt like you understood as I rubbed my hands over your wood. Now I need you to see that it's time for me to move out of the ocean. You'd best prepare for total deletion.
Now that I'm all done with Skull and Bones, that just means I have a whole lot more time to play War Thunder. Don't forget to play it for free on PC, PlayStation, or Xbox now by using my link in the pinned comment or video description. New and returning players that haven't played in 6 months will also receive a massive bonus pack across all platforms, including multiple premium vehicles and other goodies. Available for a limited time only, so make sure not to miss it. They say, War Thunder. What is it good for? Absolutely something. Thank you, War Thunder. And I've got to give an even bigger thank you to the Immersium for letting me come over here and film in their pirate ship. So it's actually a puzzle room, but what they did was they built an entire pirate ship in that room. I've done the puzzle room before, and I gotta tell you, it's easily one of the best I've ever done. And I've done a few in LA, and it tops those easily. It's super immersive, the puzzles are really intuitive, and it's a really cool experience overall. So if you live in Reno, or maybe you're visiting here for some reason, go ahead and check them out. It's a fun time. And of course, I gotta thank the Patreons, because every dollar I get from there goes right back into the channel. With their help, I'm able to pay to board a pirate ship, get some props, pay for editing software, and video games. So if you want to see the quality of this channel continue to improve, maybe consider giving the Patreon a couple of doubloons. Thanks again, everybody. And thank you, viewer, for watching. Definitely got to talk about a good game pretty soon here. Either way, stay tuned. I'll have another upload in a couple of weeks. But that does it for this video, everybody. Check out my Suicide Squad review, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
On the beach, you can call, but we're not home. No messages for us, just an unending chorus of crashing